Yo, what's up, everybody? We like to welcome you to episode 9 of the Pardon My Ignorance podcast. This is actually your host for this episode, Jenny Apples, and I am your co-host for this episode here.
Turn of events, people.
Yes, plot twists. You're going to run this show. We're going to dive into a couple interesting topics.
Yes, we are.
You know, we're going to touch on finance. We're going to touch on maybe a little pop culture stuff. We're going to touch on some NYC Mayoral stuff. Whole bunch of stuff. CDC came out with new guidelines and might have pulled back some and all types of craziness. So, we'll see where we end up. We're just going to run and see. But, Jen, what's going on? How you been?
Been good. Back
I haven't seen you in a whole 48 hours.
I know. It's been so long. We don't have Manny this time, but shout out Manny. Thank you for pulling up to the last episode. That was so much fun.
That was awesome. That was actually one of my favorite episodes. I thought that was really cool. Yeah. He's super smart.
So smart.
The verdict is still out. We're still waiting to hear back and see if he's CIA related in any way, shape, or form.
He might be. You don't know for facts yet, but
so shout out to Manny. Thank you for coming by. And so how was your weekend? How was everything? You did some cool things this weekend.
I did a couple cool things. You know, I kind of bounced out and about a little bit. The weather is getting nicer.
Yes.
Until outside.
Until you hit a rooftop at a certain point and it gets very cold.
Yeah, it gets a little breezy on the 32nd floor of rooftop in Midtown. I will admit that.
Absolutely.
But, you know, there's some cute little places popping up around the city and there's stuff to do and there's life here again.
It looks like New York is coming alive again, which is super interesting. I was out last night. I'm not going to say the place.
Oh, yeah. How was your weekend?
It was cool. But it was like, I don't know where I went. It was just like all the way back. And I don't know how I felt about that. It was like
all the way. Oh, you mean
there was like a DJ and it was like fog and I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for all of this yet. Like the music was super loud. I'm like, damn, do I have like PTSD from like being in the house?
Might.
I wasn't ready.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready to go all the way back. Like that whole scene, like people are in it.
It's a lot. Yeah, like moving around, no mask. You could go up to the bar. I might have had like 2 drinks and I'm like, this is too much.
Come on, Taurean, I thought you were ready for your hot boy summer.
Last night was like, no, you're not. Absolutely not.
Well, I guess time will tell. Maybe you'll warm up to it.
You got to crawl before you walk, and that was like a run. I'm like,
oh, no, you were thrown in.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was deep. All right, well, Jen, let's hop into our show.
Let's go. Since we always usually start our topics kind of in the current events and what's happening in the news as of late, you know, the two of us, we don't want to get into too much detail on this topic because it is pretty sensitive and very sad, to be honest.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of conflict once again in the Middle East.
Right, with Palestine and Jerusalem.
Yes,
right?
and Israel and the Jews and all
of
that.
It's been escalating as of recent. You know, it's a lot of moving parts to it. You know, it's a lot happening. And it's very, very intense. You know, we're just sending tons of prayers and all types of good energy out to the Middle East. You know, hopefully they can resolve their issues out there. It's a lot. You know, it's a lot. It's heavy. We're not versed on it like that. So I don't, you know, granted, it's called Pardon My Ignorance.
It
but
is.
We don't want to get to a point to where we have, like, the conversation just just straight based on
Yeah,
ignorance.
and also like wrong facts. We
Yeah.
don't want to, because it dates back so far, the conflict
Yeah.
between the two countries.
Like almost
And
over 50, no, more than 50 years. Because I think it goes back to like 1948 from what I've read, and that could be a question mark in itself.
Right, because it's all
Yeah.
whatever news source you're getting your information from at the same time. So, you know, it's going on.
Yeah.
We definitely wanted to just say a prayer and definitely wish peace to the people who are suffering over there right now.
Absolutely.
And our sincerest condolences, and we hope that things get resolved very quickly.
Absolutely. We need peace in the Middle East.
Yes.
Yeah. New York City. New York City. This is for our New York residents only. Yeah, we could say only, because only New York residents.
Yeah, New York City residents only.
Yes. There's a very important date coming up, June 22nd. It is the New York City Mayoral Race. And the front runner is former presidential candidate Andrew Yang Gang, who is kind of killing it right now, but he has he keeps putting his foot in his mouth.
He is. He's a front runner, but like he needs to get off Twitter or have somebody like vet his Twitter posts before he like he
needs someone to be like, you gotta relax. You know, it's like, take some time off.
Yeah.
Gang,
he's
like,
really
just chill.
Hurting himself.
Yeah.
A little bit.
So he's the front runner. And then straight from the mean streets of Brownsville, and that's not even a joke, from Brownsville, Brooklyn.
Those are mean.
Eric Adams is the coming up second. There's a lot of candidates, though. It's like 9 to 10 candidates in this race.
There are, but we need to pay attention to what's going on because, you know, this is our city and
it, you know, the city, it needs a little guidance right now.
It does.
You know, and I feel
these are tender times. So
I like Andrew Yang. I feel like he has some pretty progressive views when it comes to you know, just like getting money into people's hands, you know, like I think he would be a great candidate for the like the economy and stuff like that. Like he has very good progressive ideas.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like,
we need that right now.
Absolutely. And then sometimes you have to ask, how are we going to get it done though? You know, so it's one of those things to where I just want to make sure that he's not the guy who's promising gym all day and pizza at lunch for every day. You know, it's just I don't know if that's gonna happen, but all right, we'll see. But I like Andrew Yang. I love his ads. His ads are like super cool. He's like on a boardwalk, Coney Island,
you were
or something.
saying like he was like
dancing
a little bit.
He has like a bop, and I'm like, okay, Yang Gang is out here.
He is out there.
I like Andrew Yang.
We'll see. Most importantly, you know, do your research. And
absolutely. First and foremost, the A train does not go to the Bronx. Andrew, chill.
Come on, man.
Like it goes to the Heights, does not go to the Bronx. So don't hop on the A train.
He put a silly tweet saying that I'm currently on the A train headed to the Bronx. No.
Everybody in the Bronx is like, what part?
A train does not lead to the Bronx. That's a bad look if you're gonna run for mayor.
Yeah, you got to know the city.
You got to know the city.
And right now we need somebody strong in there because crime is kind of on the rise, which is a little
oddly enough
crazy. Yeah. And we just need like good times to happen right now. Like we're coming out of all of this COVID stuff, New York City being hit so hard. We really need someone to come in with a great plan. So I would recommend everybody in New York City, you know, do your research, see what these candidates' views are, and really go for the one that makes sense. You know, I personally like Andrew Yang's views, and I love the fact that he wants to get money into people's hands, and I think that's a great thing, and that's something that we really need to start paying attention to. And he wants to keep like the big hitters here. You know, New York City needs moneymakers.
This is true.
This is a big money city.
Yeah.
And it's like when people are fleeing, things get ugly. You know, so.
Unfortunately, people are coming back. People are saying city's coming back.
I mean,
as we keep saying every week. Slowly and slowly coming back.
But. It's New York City, the greatest city in the world. So, June 22nd, make sure you guys get on your calendar, New York City. Vote. You have to vote. Go vote. Because if you don't vote, shut up. Don't say anything.
Exactly. You can't talk. Guys, no more masks.
But yet I'm still a punk. Not doing it. Sorry. Not raw dog in air. No.
T's not ready. I'm not ready. I'm sorry. I'm being a punk. They said, you know what? They just ripped off the Band-Aid, guys.
Yeah.
I'm just like, how we've eased into everything. We've eased out of everything. But with this, like, they're just like, mask off. Rip off the Band-Aid. No more masks. You guys are fine. What?
Whoa, sir.
Wait, what? We've been through so much trauma. We've sat in these masks for over a year. Now, all of a sudden, it's like A-okay, and we're just supposed to go along with this?
Slow this ride down.
I'm a little skeptical.
And I'm super reluctant because it's interesting because not every it's no more masks if you're fully vaccinated.
Yes,
that's the thing. So
right. And as Biden said, it's mask or vax, which people are up in arms about.
I just hate stop. We don't need vaxxed to be a thing. Like, I don't think that should be a thing.
You don't like that word?
It's just like no, it's not like masked or vax. First and foremost, it really doesn't go together. It doesn't even make sense.
It sounds just very pushy.
It's too marketing cliche. Like, ew, get out of here. But the thing is, everybody's not vaccinated. So if we really, dissect that, it can't be masked or vax, because if I'm out there and this person doesn't have a mask, I don't care what anybody says. Unless I can 100% authentically prove that you have been vaccinated.
Yeah. And, how would you prove that? Because they're even making fake vaccination cards.
So ridiculous.
People who don't want to be vaccinated, they're buying vaccination cards, which is appalling. And it's just rude for, people who aren't vaccinated, people who are vulnerable. You're putting people at risk. If
how
they're
much of an asshole can you be to make a fake vaccination card?
Come on, man.
What?
You suck.
You really do suck as a person.
You do.
Your mom and dad
I'm sorry.
made some bad choices.
Oh, wow. This could be true. But, that's where we're at. So if you are vaccinated, you can go mask free if you want.
But businesses...
But there's no way to know.
So businesses aren't doing that. They're
right. So it's restricted. It's not anywhere and everywhere. I know some big names like Starbucks, CVS, they said no, you need a mask to enter a store. Yeah. It's
who is
allowing this?
Texas, Florida.
I feel they did this too fast.
Yeah.
Even Fauci was like, this wasn't done well. We're not really on the same page. We need to kind of I
wonder what gave the green light.
Figure this out.
Because cases are dropping.
Yeah.
Cases are dropping. Deaths are down dramatically. But it's just why put this out? Why just go for it now? I don't think it makes sense. And I feel maybe when it comes to gatherings and stuff like that, the mask isn't the problem. I could wear a mask into the park and be cool and be chilling. Outside. That's not the problem. It's going indoors and it's oh, you don't have to wear a mask. And then everybody is all right, I'm not wearing a mask. Because how are you going to separate who can and who can't?
Yeah.
Are they going to ask?
It makes sense for small groups of friends. We're all vaccinated. Yeah. CDC says this is okay. Okay. Maybe that makes people feel a little bit more comfortable. Maybe that's where they were trying to go with this.
Right.
But I don't know. It's not clear enough. Clearly, we're confused.
Yeah. The communication was bad.
A little more information would be nice.
Absolutely. But
please,
let's be honest. Have we really gotten any accurate information throughout this whole thing, though? No. At all. It's what is going on?
It's a year of anxiety.
So I would say if you're fully vaxxed, go for it. I'm not, but have fun.
No, you are fully vaxxed. You're just not going.
Yeah, I'm fully vaxxed. I'm just not taking my mask off. I'm sorry.
I'm not there yet. I'm not with you. I'm not at the bars, max up. I can't. I'm not.
At all.
I'm not ready.
I think it's such a good idea. I haven't had like a sniffle at all this year. So I'm like, I'm chilling. Like, why haven't we thought about this sooner? What is going on?
Lucky you, because my allergies have been insane. So.
Weirdly enough, I usually get like hay fever and allergies.
Yeah. Nothing. Not for you?
Nothing.
So many people are just like, this year has been ridiculous. So.
Like, crazy. Like, everyone is like, I don't even want to go outside.
Suffering. Yeah, for real sometimes.
That's so crazy. I wonder why.
Everybody's different. Everybody's immunities are different, so.
Yeah, so my vaccination has clearly made me a superhero. So
and mine did not, so.
I mean, hey, I say, if you want to get vaxxed, get vaxxed. If not, do your own thing. But, hey, CDC says you could take your mask off if you're fully vaxxed and waxed. What I've noticed is while a lot of people had, like, downtime, which I think is awesome. A lot of people started to dive into like stocks, cryptocurrencies, and things of that nature, and just like saving money and, you know, a lot of stuff like that. And it's interesting because for me personally, I had to be taught. Did I say that right? I had to be taught.
Yeah.
Or I was taught how to like trade and all that other stuff. Just luckily for me, I'm like a statistics person. Like, I like charts and I like to see trends and stuff like that, which, you know, you definitely have to watch when trading. And I was thinking about, why isn't this in schools? You know, like, I'm of a certain age, and it's just like, I didn't even really think about it until I literally had nothing but time. And it's just like, oh, the market is in a weird place, like, let me jump in and all this other stuff. But just think about, you know, being of a certain age or being in, I don't even want to say like high school. It could even start in like middle school.
Yeah.
You know, with cryptocurrency, because everybody's on computers now and all this other stuff. So just think about if the education system kind of like had students begin to understand cryptocurrencies, investing, and watching these trends and all that stuff. By the time they get to college or whatever, you'll probably have like some real like millionaires.
Do you think, Taurean, that they would ever make that step to teach financial literacy in schools, let alone in public schools?
Absolutely not. No, because what happens is that I feel like what that does is it puts more players in the game. You know, it's like that 1% gets real shaky if people know the game.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like the American education system it doesn't even teach you credit. It doesn't teach you all that stuff.
The importance of it at all. It's so true, and it seems that the people who do make it out to understand it, you know, they've been supported.
Yeah.
And educated at home, you know, their parents have taught them the right ways to invest and why credit is so important.
Yeah.
And all those things, but in school, there was none of that.
No, I mean, you learn geometry, algebra, and all this other stuff to where that stuff could easily be replaced with saving, you know, credit, investing, you know, entrepreneurship, things of that. Like, I don't think those should be electives or anything. It should be focused. You know how like in college you pick your major?
Yeah.
I think that needs to go. I think for, I guess in grade school it needs to be like more simplified. It needs to make more sense.
Right.
You know, and then towards high school, I think that's when it needs to get a little more selective.
Right. At least the bare minimum. At least the basics.
Credit itself, I think, is something that should be taught.
Because for so long, kids are just taught, to go to school and then come out and get a job,
Yep.
and your job will take care of your retirement, your job will take care of your pension, your 401k, all those things. But you know what? Like, a lot of companies aren't even doing pensions anymore.
Right.
And those funds are not available as much as they were before. Like,
yeah.
That's why right now we need to become more literate in finance.
Absolutely.
So we know how to, believe it or not, there are ways to set that stuff up for yourself outside of just working a job. Yeah. Entrepreneurs, there are different strategies and different ways that you create those plans for yourself. Yeah. IRAs and Roth IRAs, you can get that, LLCs, creating a business account, tax savings, and so through the business account, there's so much to be learned.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be one of those, like, either I'm an entrepreneur or I have a 9-to-5, because they say to become a millionaire, you need 7 streams of revenue. Okay. One of them being a solid paycheck, a steady paycheck, which is cool. But I think what school teaches kids sometimes is it's all about the steady paycheck.
Right.
Like I listen to a lot of people having these conversations about, and I'm not saying anything's wrong with it, but a lot of people are like, I'm working all these hours, like I'm chasing the bag. No.
Right.
If you're working 100 hours, the bag is running from you.
They're trading their time for money.
Absolutely. And that, who teaches that? Well, a lot of entrepreneurs teach that, of like how to monetize your time.
Right.
And
create some passive income for yourself.
Absolutely.
And it's so important to teach your kids this, since clearly it's not being taught in school right now. We don't know when or if that would ever happen. But for example, like my brother-in-law, my sister, my nephew just graduated from high school, and he was offered a full scholarship to play sports, but no, what he wants to do? He wants to become an accountant. He wants to buy his first property, rent it out, and become an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What? And they've been teaching him stocks since like the time he can read.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
His mindset is in the right place. Like, sports are cool. He knows that he loves sports, but he's just ready for the real world and prepared to kind of take that on.
My advice to that from an entrepreneurial perspective is, if they're paying for school through sports, get it done. Do that, you know? And it's
that.
like, you don't have to choose. That's the thing I want to say. You don't have to choose. Yeah. It's just the strategy. Like, be financially strategic and say, okay. And that's kind of something I do too. Like, it's funny because, like, I'm just like, how are we going to pay for this? And you can get things done. So it's just like, you want to own property. School's going to be paid for. They're paying for you to come play sports. You mess around, you end up in I don't know what sport he plays, but you mess around, end up in the NBA.
Basketball and football.
Yeah, and you have like, you're already a step ahead because you know what you want to do, and you know how to recognize financial literacy and how to move forward. So it's like, get that shit paid for, get that school paid for, get that bag, and you already have the tools you need to make it work. So I would tell your nephew.
My nephew, and I'm such a proud
take that
auntie.
Scholarship.
He's graduating with honors.
Absolutely.
And
take that scholarship.
Bright future. I'm so proud of you, JD.
I mean, take that scholarship, because also, if they're offering him a full scholarship, he's worked for that. He did
absolutely.
Something to be recognized.
This
to say,
kid wakes up at 6 a.m. every day. He works out before school, after school, studies his ass off.
Yeah.
I'm just beyond proud.
With that's monetizing your time. Mm-hmm. The scholarship is one of those things to where waking up, working out, doing all that, putting in those hours, that's one of those. Don't leave that scholarship on the table. That's also another thing. Don't leave that money on the table because it's there. You do not have to choose. Right. You can do both. I'm proud of him. Like, I'm super for him. Like, that's cool. And I don't think, at the same time, it's like, I don't want, he knows what he wants to do. But then it's like, dude, you put in your hours. Like, you put in that work.
Right.
Get rewarded for it. You know? Like,
we'll see.
We'll
see what he decides. He's got choices, so that's the best place that you want to be in.
I'm rooting for him, man. Like,
more
shout
of
out
that.
to him.
We need more of that. More parents teaching their kids to think in this way.
Absolutely.
And, this is how we set them up for brighter futures.
In case you guys don't know or not paying attention, Jen is an amazing real estate agent. She's diving in and really doing her shit. And I think with New York City, to be specific, like reopening and all that other stuff, people coming back, the market is really like interesting, because it really stopped. People jumped ship and was darting out of New York City, and 2020 was really, really rough. It was worse than 2008 when, the big economic crash or the recession.
Right.
2001 where 9/11, 2020, the world stopped. And New York City was one of those places where you just did not want to be.
So back in 2020, they were reporting. Well, I'll go into rentals then.
Let's do some rental shit.
Do some rentals because that's people are curious about that.
Yeah.
So back in 2020, a lot of landlords were reporting it was about 10% vacancy.
Okay.
In all of New York City.
Yeah.
Which actually, if you talk to a lot of brokers and real estate agents, that's a lie.
What?
Okay.
They were reporting falsely. It was more about like 20 to 30%.
That's
vacant.
A big difference.
Yes.
And they were doing that because of, to kind of...
For the price.
Yeah, and
if a building has 150 vacant apartments and they're trying to rent a place for $3,000 a month, people are gonna laugh in your face.
I know, I'm going in. I'm like, are you
they'll
kidding
put something
me?
on Street Easy and say like, oh yeah, our building has 2 apartments, and you go talk to them and it's really 200.
And that's
well, as an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. Like the numbers were off. So in the news, everyone's saying, oh yeah, 6 to 10%. No, it was more like 20 to 30%.
So even in the news, that was almost like a disinformation type of
completely.
thing too.
Well, when all of our information was like, is this real? Is this not?
Oh my
what
God.
is going on? They're calling them shadow vacancies.
Shadow vacancies.
Yes.
So I feel like that should be illegal, but.
Well,
they are owners, so it
they
makes sense.
They are building owners. They don't have to disclose that information, to my knowledge.
Yeah, that's
so
crazy.
that was one part of it. So moving forward to where we are now, now those numbers are actually correct. We are at about 6 to 10% vacant, so people are coming back. And last year, there was a lot of concessions trying to get people to come back to the city. So they were giving up to 6 months free rent on certain places. Whereas to now, we're not seeing as much. We're seeing maybe up to like 2 to 3.
So when they were doing 6 months rent, like how would that, like I signed a lease April 1st, right?
Right.
How would that play out?
So there's something called a gross net and a gross rent and a net effective rent. Okay. So say you're renting an apartment and it's $3,000 a month and you sign a 12-month lease and 6 months free, right?
Okay.
So the landlord would probably say you pay the first 6 months on the $3,000 and then for the last 6 months you pay nothing. The gross rent will be $3,000. The net effective would be $3,000 times 6 divided by 12, and you get your net. So the landlords don't typically allow you. Yes, if you do it over time for the amount of the year, you're technically paying that over. That's how much you're going to be paying.
Yeah.
But they're going to make you pay the gross each month rather than the net effective for 12 months.
What?
So that's kind of how that's working.
What would be a counter to that?
A counter to that, they could just reduce the price all around rather than doing the concessions of the free months.
What would you recommend? Or are we getting too...
I mean, it's very situational. It would just depend building to building, but... So that's kind of, where we're at with that. People are coming back. It's getting busier, and the demand is high. I just went to tour a building just yesterday, and within 48 hours, they already rented 9 apartments.
Wow.
So things are filling up, they're not giving as many concessions away, but, very competitive market right now. So basically last year, since offices closed down, people don't want to live with roommates. The most vacant apartments were studios and then 3 or 4 bedroom apartments because, nobody's really here for work. A lot of people moved out of here, went back home to their families. They don't need the studio apartments in the city. Those are vacant. And then if you think about it, 3 or 4 bedroom apartments, they were mostly roommates.
Yeah.
And during the pandemic, during the pandemic, people don't want to share apartments with people. I know a lot of friends that were having issues with roommates coming in and out, going and partying and then coming home. And then it's just like, different people on different thoughts about the pandemic altogether.
To have like a roommate is just like just randomly coming home without a mask on. You're like, hold up.
And then inviting people home without telling you. It could be
that's
a huge issue. So
absolutely,
a lot of people stopped renting those places, and those were the highest vacancies that we had in the city.
So like how is so now are like the 3 bedrooms, because it sounds like, we were just talking about the whole mask thing. It's like we're still not comfortable with going outside with a mask.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, like, even with the roommate situation, like, those 3 and 4 bedroom, like, studios, I feel, are going to be like, okay, let's go. I can get that because that is pretty much isolation. Yeah. But with the 3 and 4 bedrooms, I could see those moving a little bit slower because I don't think people are ready to be in such close quarters with people, just like people they don't know, or if I can't watch your moves, I don't know how close I want you to
So
me.
they won't be as popular. And also, people who do rent those studio 1 bedrooms, they want to upgrade to have more space because so many more people are working from home.
Right.
And a lot of people, like a lot of couples, they're upgrading to larger apartments.
Yeah.
To convert an extra bedroom, an extra loft, like an extra alcove space like into an office. I'm seeing a lot of that too.
That's cool.
So it's been an interesting shift, but things are moving upwards, which is important. And also, in the sales department of it too, that's getting competitive as well. With resale, which is just someone purchasing an existing apartment. Yeah. There's been a lot of bidding wars. Everybody's trying to buy right now to take advantage of these low interest rates. But with new development, people are trying to get the best deals. And with the new development, they're not very flexible with the price. But what a lot of people have been doing is negotiating concessions. Give me a year free common charges. Or give me, free parking, or, different ways to get around the price. Because those little things add up, and instead of taking it off the total price, you can cut your monthly expenses, yearly expenses down by quite a bit to help balance out. So
that's a lot. There's like
prices
a lot
are down, but there's so much going on. And, as a new agent, I've learned 3 very important things to help in the business and for new people that are coming on board. I definitely give you these 3 pieces of advice.
Oh, are we going to list them?
Yeah, we're going to list them.
All right, Hefe, we need some things up there. Ding!
No, we don't. Not necessary. But number 1, do your research, learn your market, know your numbers. If you're going to be selling or renting, know the price per square foot, know what's going on in that neighborhood.
Know your comps.
Know your comps. Look
Shout
at
out to $1 Million Listing.
Yeah. See? Coming at you.
Yeah.
That's important. Number 2, I would say, is really important.
Okay.
Is know how to take a hit.
Okay, break that one down. Because when I hear hit...
What?
Not like punch in the face.
No. When I hear hit, it immediately goes to the pocket. Like, oh, I don't know.
Not in the pocket, but don't get discouraged if you get a no, if you get a deal that went sour. Keep your head up high. Move on and keep it going. Again. All that time you spend sulking and upset about a deal that went bad, you could have had like 2 or 3 other deals turn over.
Get back out there. Hit the streets.
Keep your head up high. Keep it going. Keep it moving. All right. Super important.
Do your research. Be ready to roll off of that hit and get back out.
Roll it off. Just roll it off your shoulders.
Brush it off your shoulder.
And number 3, have a strong Rolodex.
Ooh.
Network, meet people, get out there.
Yes.
And just
shake hands and kiss babies.
do it all. Talk to everybody.
That is, that's true, and I think because that's like a strong network is actually like something I truly believe in. Like a lot of people I have conversations with ask for certain things, and luckily I have a good network, and it's just like, nah, I don't just give my network to people.
Exactly.
But I think what's interesting in this whole social media world now, people kind of equate your network to like followers and all that, and I don't think the two are the same thing.
No, it could be totally it could be different. That's more like the social media realm, like maybe the influencer path. But when it comes to business, it could be slightly different. I mean, it's important to have followers for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'll see like a post, like we've seen like a story that's like, if you know a graphic designer, hit me in my DMs. In my mind, with having a network, it's just like, I need a graphic designer. And I'll go through my phone like, oh, so-and-so is a graphic designer. Let me text them or shoot them a note or something like that. So it's just like, I think that's the difference between a network and followers. It's like, a network is, I'm going to text X, Y, and Z for this project.
Right.
Followers is like, I'm going to put it out there and hopefully somebody bites.
Yeah.
So it's just a little more concentrated.
It is. And what I learned from a networking expert that I took some classes with is when you're approaching someone, come out with your hand
extended. With
your hand up, not your hand out. How can I help you rather than what can you give me?
What? That is amazing. I love that.
So good. So think about it like, Taurean, what can I do for you? How can I help your business? And if I find a way to help you, next time, someone comes along and asks for an apartment, you're going to think of me.
Yeah.
Because of something that I helped you with without asking for anything in return.
Wow. That is
hand up, not
awesome.
Hand
Hand up, not hands out. I love that. That is so awesome.
Another awesome episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. We always appreciate the views.
All of that, the comments. Wait, what's our friend? Who's our friend?
Brittany Elias Velez, our #1 fan.
We are going to shout you out always because we love you.
So much.
Your interaction. We love your comments and all that stuff. You make us feel amazing. And Jen, I am so happy that you got to talk your shit.
Yes.
This episode.
I know, me too.
You really know what you're doing, and
thank you.
I think it's so dope.
I've been trained well. I thank my mentor 100% for this.
Yeah, that's
she got me here. Hey. Victoria Felix.
What's up? It's
my mentor.
You guys are doing great things, and I'm
guide. She has been incredible through my whole journey. I couldn't have learned all this without her.
And you know it.
20 years of experience, and I just absorb all of it like a sponge, and I'm still learning.
Yeah. But I always say what makes you awesome is when you can teach what you do. That true. Makes you amazing.
Yeah.
That's dope. Before we get all sappy and stuff, let's throw it to our Instagram. So this episode, I'm gonna tell the people this episode. I was like, I don't know what we're gonna talk about, what to do, and our amazing producer came in and was like, "Yo, I got it. This is what we're gonna do. Here are the notes. Study, be ready." And we're here, so we're gonna tell you guys to follow our amazing producer on Instagram at INSTAPENA. Don't forget the underscore. That's Instapena _ on Instagram. Follow Jen at
J_APPELS.
Yes. And follow and hit her up if you're looking to buy a place, rent a place, or anything within that real estate. Like, seriously, hit her up. She knows her shit. She'll get it done. And follow me on Instagram at JUST_Taurean. That's just Tori. Wait. JUST_TAUREAN. That's just_Taurean on Instagram. Follow us at Pardon My Ignorance Podcast on Instagram. And if you are watching us on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. And what's our friend's name again? Brittany?
Brittany Elias Velez.
Brittany, we love you. And you know, let's just keep this thing going. And we're one episode away from wrapping the season.
Crazy.
And we're having some conversations about doing something pretty
going
cool.
Big.
We're going to go big. Let's see what we can make happen.
And take it home.
That's right.
So stay tuned for next week.